The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the webinar. Can you all hear me? Excellent. I'm glad that you can all hear me correctly. We're just waiting for Antra to get online. We're just sorting that out, and once that's done, we can get started. All right. Are you there, Antra?
Yes, I'm here, Robin.
Excellent.
Hello.
Good afternoon.
Hello. Good afternoon, everyone.
All right, so a quick introductions. I'd just like to go first. My name is Robin, and I'm part of the sales team here at DataBasics. I focus mostly on new sales as well as flight, which is one of the dams we'll be discussing today. And I'll let Antra introduce herself.
Hello, everyone. I am Antra, and I am the Media and Marketing Manager for DataBasics. And today, I will later, after Robin shows you some great features of Flight, I will show you some of the features that I use on almost daily basis about the dam. So let me hand over to Robin for now.
Thank you so much. So there's a few things that I'd like to go over today. But firstly, I'd just like to point anybody listening to our blog. Today's webinar is going to be based on some of our blog content. So it's very easy to find. If you go to our website, databasics.com.au, you can navigate to the news and blog section. And within this section, you'll be able to see quite a few blog posts. So for today's webinar, for instance, we're going to be basing it loosely off of the blog post about what problems can dams solve for creative agencies. Yeah, so that's just there as an additional resource if you ever need to know anything about dams. So Flight is a SaaS dam, which means it's a software as a solution. So it's a cloud-hosted dam with a lot of the high-powered features, and it's very easy to use. So we'll be using it for our demonstration today, but a lot of the things we'll be discussing we'll be able to transfer to other dams as well. So just quickly, sort of topics that we'll be going over. We'll be going over search functionality of a dam. We'll be looking at uploading files. We'll be looking at metadata. We'll be looking at how a dam can help us work with external users. We'll be looking at creative workspaces. We'll be looking at downloading and what utilities a dam can give you to make that process easier. We'll be looking at collaboration features, version control, relating files, and then portals. And then Antra will, in her time, go through a few different things that she'll go into later. So we'll start at the top, and we'll talk about search. So search is a very powerful feature in a dam. It's important because when we have thousands to tens of thousands of assets, it can be almost impossible to search through each of those by hand and to find one that might have been uploaded years ago that you don't exactly have any information for. That's where the search functionality comes in. This little search bar at the top here is very powerful. It's able to search through any information that's stored about any of the assets inside the dam. And you can see here that it has a couple of additional options. So we can search only within specific fields. We can have and or terms. You can search through the entire solution or only within a certain amount of results. So I can see off the top here we've got some fish. So let's see what will come up if we search fish. So you can see immediately we've taken what was once a library just full of random images, now has some purpose. We can go through and quickly look through all of the images associated with that particular thing. But sometimes it's even harder than that. Sometimes you have a lot more images. If you deal with fish on a daily basis, you might have thousands of different types of fish. So that's where we can go through and we can filter. So by filtering, we have a lot more options. So as you can see immediately, we've got options about tags. So we can maybe go ocean, which might limit it to just fish that can be found in the ocean. We might only want white fish. We might want blue fish. So slowly you can see how we can narrow down the search. From then we can go on to look at the content type. So in this case, we've got images as well as video. If you didn't want any video, if you were just trying to search for an image, for instance, you could just disable or go specifically to the video or specifically to the images. And that way it removes any of those videos from the search results. You can go one step further and search for pixel dimensions, even orientation, and video duration. There are a few others like the date modified field, the file size, and even the users that were involved in the uploading of those images. So quickly you've taken a library which was at one stage very overwhelming and turned it into a controlled, useful environment. And that is the power of the search function. Okay, so secondly on our list, and I also want to add, feel free to ask questions if you have any during the presentation. If you don't ask any questions, I'm just going to go down the list. But a webinar is nice because it gives you guys the opportunity to interact with us and to ask the questions that might be on your mind. All right, so we're moving on to uploading files. So Flight is very simple in the way it handles uploading files. You can take a file from anywhere. In this case, I've downloaded this dolphin marine image, and you can drag it directly into the web browser. It will then come up with this pop-up. So this pop-up allows us to choose a few things to store the image with. So we can change the approval, which is just if it's publicly accessible. We can change the keywords. So this is a preset list of tags that you can create with the DAM. Or we can add freeform tags. So in this case, I know it's a dolphin, and I can add that. I know that it's blue. I can add that. I know that it's silver. So you can see how we can add some information that we can later use to search through the images of dolphins to find a specific one. And that's one part of it. Then the next section is the description. So Antra and I were discussing previously, and she mentioned that the description is not only a good place to store things about the image. Let's say it's the description of the dolphin itself, but it's a great way to keep track of what that image is used for within the business. So if it was used for a specific type of marketing, you could say that it was maybe make a note there that it was used in the June issue of a particular magazine, or it was used in a specific web publication. So that way, all that information is accessible and searchable.
Yeah, and I can just quickly add that you can also recommend a usage for an asset. For example, you can say this can be used for print or social media or whatever else you like to add in there. So it's pretty much any notes you would like to for people to see, you can put in the description.
Excellent. And the nice thing about these fields is that they're editable after you've done the initial upload as well. So from there, we have the option to add it to an album. So in our case, we've got an upload here first album, just so that we can upload it into the solution and then we can sort it out later. So we'll go ahead and pop it into there. And then we've got a couple of these special fields which we've come up with. These are custom fields. And so each organization will use these differently. We've got a few depending on the demo we've done. For instance, cow rating, which is not relevant to the fish that we're dealing with right now. And then lastly, you can add a watermark upon upload. Again, all of these things are editable later. So we're going to go and apply that. And you can see it's processing here. And then very quickly, it will be processed and be in the solution. So when you're dealing with a lot more assets, it will be able to do that in the background. So you don't have to wait there for it to upload that image. And here you can see our new image displayed in our search. So that is how easy it can be to upload files. But sometimes it's not the users of the DAM which are uploading the files. Sometimes you're dealing with external agencies, like photographer, consultants, things like that, that will need to be able to give you the images. And in the past, it might have been through the use of a USB or email if you wanted to download a overly large attachment. But with Flight, it allows us to use upload links. So if we go to the settings and the link to connections, upload links is the first link that's highlighted here. And as you can see, we've got a few here that have been used for demo purposes. I'm just going to go into this one here so we can see what that looks like. So you can see that immediately we're met with a couple of photos. So this is what it would look like once you've sent this upload link to an external agency. They'll be able to drag these files into this box, and you'll be able to browse them natively within Flight. So from this point, we can go ahead and we can look for any of our folders. So if we want to go to upload here first, for instance, we can take any of these, we can select them. Maybe I like this file and I like this file, and we can drag those directly into an album. And then that'll be stored in there and ready to be accessed in the general library. So what does it look like when we create these? If we go ahead and go back to the Flight settings page, we can see a new upload link. And this here shows you the different options that we have. So you can name the upload link, you can add a description, and then you can create the email that will be sent to your external agencies straight from Flight. You can add multiple recipients in case you're dealing with multiple agents at that company, or you can just send one upload link to all of your external agents depending on how you like to do your uploading. And you can see this little selection box here. If you're comfortable with your external agencies adding their own metadata, or maybe adding some of those tags that we talked about earlier, by selecting this, they may be able to do a lot of that work for you before it becomes imported into your own system. And that's a great way to have people not necessarily be involved directly with Flight, but it'll allow them to integrate with it so that your job as a creative is easier. Great. So that is uploading. So next we have the metadata. So I mentioned briefly that we had the metadata adding screen pop up when you upload an image, but adding metadata to a pre-existing image is very simple as well. If we go ahead and click on our little dolphin, you can see that immediately it comes up with a larger image of it and a few of these little description boxes. So here we can see that we haven't added a description for this particular image. So we can go ahead and we can click that, and then straight from the browser we can edit that here. So we can say dolphin is smiling. And that is how easy it is to edit any of these things. We can then go and add extra tags. We can look at a lot of the other details that come with the particular asset. And if we click down on the little down arrow here, we're met with this large page full of information about the image. So we can see that the status is still pending. We can add additional keywords. We can look at the custom fields and then the data that came with the image. So a lot of the time this comes directly from the camera, and it pertains to the information about the color and maybe the ratio and little things like that, which I'm sure you are all more comfortable with than I am. And that's there. So that's how simple it can be to adding metadata. So you can add it on upload, and you can add it later by going into the image details. Great. So then on the note of working with externals, we have the need sometimes to share with external users. So maybe this is a client and we're trying to share some of our work as an example. This is where share links come into play, which is another powerful feature of most modern dams. So if we're dealing with an aquarium and we really like these images here, and we want to share these out to them, normally, again, you'd have to either send it physically or send it via another means. With Flight, we can just press the little share button at the top right. This gives us a couple of options, so you can still send it via email, but my most preferred tool is the share link. So the share link offers quite a few little things that we can edit. So we can change the expiration date. So maybe you only want to share it for a certain amount of time, so you have a bit more control over the assets, or you can just have it never expire if it's something that you want the external user to keep. you can enable the original download. So let's say in this case, if it's a portfolio, I don't want them to be able to download the original because then all my work is for nothing. I want them to not be able to crop and resize. I don't want them to be able to use any of the presets, and I don't want them to see those descriptions and fields that I've created. On top of that, I want to create a watermark, and I'm going to use the copyright watermark that we've predefined so that even though they can see the images, they won't be able to download them, which keeps our assets safe. And that's in April, which seems like a perfect time. So we can press the Create Link button, and then you can see it's a very short URL that you can copy to your clipboard, and then you can share with anybody in any means of communication that you prefer. This makes it one of the most dynamic options, which doesn't move you away from the communication that you were comfortable with before. And that's one of the easiest ways to share with our external users. There is another way, which is portals, which we'll cover later in the webinar. So now we go on to workspaces. So I'm not a creative by any means, but I've had this described to me as one of the most important features for creative users. This is a area away from the main library, which is free to use for the creatives. So the people with the privilege to access this, so it won't be your general users, they'll be able to come in here and upload images directly here before they're put into the main library. So this is a testing space, a collaborative space, somewhere where you should be able to feel comfortable to change things and to mess around with things and to work with things that aren't quite ready to be published. So once they're done, you can select the image that you're happy with, and you can press the Move Files to Main Library. So this is what this is designed for, and it's a powerful tool for creative users. Okay. So now on to downloading images. So if I was to be working on something, maybe I need to do some editing with this particular image, I can go ahead and I can click on this one. From the hover, you can see that there's a little download icon. That's one way to do it. The other way is to select the particular asset you want. You can select multiple, and you can press the download button, or you can go into the image itself and press the download button from here as well. So let's go ahead and do that. So it'll load it up nicely for us, and you can see that initially the original file is chosen. So there's a few options that we have here. So the first is the original, which is as it was uploaded, you can download it directly into your downloads folder, and you can then edit it from there. The second is the crop function. So sometimes you already know what part of the image you're going to be using. So if I only wanted the face of the dolphin, I can select that and then download that specific crop. As you can see, there's quite a lot of options here as to how we want to do that. So initially I've got a freeform download, but I can do it as a 1-to-1 ratio, and I can move that around and I can stretch that to make it smaller, but it keeps that ratio that was defined before. And the rest are self-explanatory. You can change the file format of the download. You can change the resolution of the download. So again, when you're editing, you probably want it at the highest resolution possible so you lose less when editing. Then we have the resize. So the resize is almost a simpler version of the crop, but it allows you to lock the ratios, which means that you can increase the ratios, decrease the ratios, and download the size, the width, and the height, but keep the same ratios as you had before. Again, similar options. You can change the file format and the resolution. And you can press download. And then we go on to our presets. So presets are ratios that you use often. So if in your particular line of work you do a lot with social media, you might want to have particular ratios designed for cover photos or profile pictures, things that you know and have tried. And this is a simple way of just selecting that from the list, and you know that that image is going to maintain that ratio when it's downloaded. And we've got another one here just for the Facebook profile picture, which as you can see down here. Excellent. So those are downloading for images specifically, but we can also download clips. So here we have an image of the reef. So let's go and have a look at that one, and we'll go and download it. So a lot of the time with video, as it is obviously much bigger than images, we have to be a bit more careful with how big a file we download. And that's where the trim video function of Flight comes in handy. So straight away, we can see these little start and end flags. So we can play the video and we can move it along and we can see exactly where we're starting. We can see where it stops. If I say I want to start from that particular point of view, I can pause it there and I can move that start flag directly where I am at the current part of the movie. And if I'm happy with this duration, I'll make sure that the ending is correct and I can see that it's perfect. I can then go ahead and download, and it will only download the specific section of that video, which makes it really great when you're on a time budget and you don't want to download the whole video time and time again. You want a specific clip for production, and you don't have to do that anymore. So that's a great tool to save you a ton of time when working with video content. All right, collaboration. Now, collaboration is a buzzword for sure, which I'm sure many of you have in all the different industries you come from. But with Flight, it allows you to discuss the assets in a very easy manner. So I've got a colleague here called Jack, and I can then add Jack to any of the comments I make on a file. So I can ask him anything here, including, like, can you change the contrast? Is there a higher resolution image of this? There's a lot of different ways that I can ask that question and talk about this particular asset. He can then come back and reply to me when he's online. These comments are sent to users directly in their email as well, so they'll get a notification even when they're not using the solution that there's an activity regarding this photo. If you are a manager or are controlling a particular asset that you're fond of, you can go ahead and you can watch and follow that content, which means that if anything happens, any changes occur, any of these comments happen, you'll be automatically included in that conversation and you'll be able to keep track of what's going on. So there's quite a few ways that you can collaborate using a DAM. Then we have a version control, which again is another great way to work with other people. So it allows multiple people to add versions of the same image and edit them. So if I go ahead and click this little versions button, the settings, you can see that the original of this was uploaded by me. It was uploaded today, and it's the current version. But let's say I made lots of changes on my next dolphin. Let's go and add that one to here. Just loading in the background. While it's loading, we can have a discussion about it anyway. It'll add it as version 2 of the asset. So by doing that, it allows you to switch back and forth between the current version and the new version. And if any mistakes happen, you can roll back to previous versions of the same asset. It might just be having issues because they are the exact same asset. It's probably trying to figure out what's different about the two of them. But that's basically what I want to say, is that you can add little descriptions of what you changed. So if you change the contrast, if you change the color scheme, if you did any color correction, you can make a note of that here so that people can keep track of exactly what's been altered as you go through the process. Oh, no, let's just reload. It doesn't like that at all. Okay. And that's as simple as that. So that's how version control can make your life easier and make sure that even if mistakes occur, they can be rolled back and that you don't have somebody overriding the entire asset and losing it forever. Then we have relating files. So relating files is a powerful tool that'll help you manage your collection. So if I wanted to say for all of my fish images, I wanted to join them up so that if I ever get a fish image, I'll be able to see the difference between them. So if I look at these ones and let me select all of them with the select all button, I can then go ahead and I can relate these files. So I'm going to go do that. Perfect. So if I now go and I view one of these, you can see down the bottom that all of those files are related are coming up directly in this image view. If I press next, it will go through those systematically through all of the related files, and you'll be able to browse them at your convenience. So this is a good way to manage content. I'm sure you can imagine there's a lot of different ways to group things than just by the type of image it is. You can do it by photo shoot, for instance. So all of the same photos from the same photo shoot. We've had companies do it that they were filming at a particular location. So even though it was multiple days, they were still able to relate all the files from the same location. And that's a really good tool to have when you're working with so many assets. And then lastly, for what I'm covering today, is portals. So as I mentioned before, portals are a great way to share content. We have a couple of portals here at DataBasics that we use for our demonstration purposes. So a while back, we did a webinar which was about branding. And the demo branding portal is what we use to illustrate that. So as you can see here, immediately I'm brought to this really nice stylistic page with custom branding. So it's all matching the color scheme. We've got this black and white and red aesthetic. And it's got this beautiful search bar, which is big and bright. So when you're dealing with people that aren't used to Flight, there's a nice call to action, which makes this great for sharing work. And we've, in this case, used it to share fake branding collateral and branding guidelines. So these little boxes all link to albums that have been allowed to be shared into this portal. So if we go ahead and we click one of these, you can see that it takes us into a custom album that was created specifically for this portal. So any users can then go ahead and click on those ones. These images can also be copyrighted and have a watermark on them, as we mentioned before. So even though you're sharing this publicly, you still have control over what those assets look like and how they're being displayed to the end user. And another one that we have is our website demo. So this is just a quick one that people can go in and look at when they're new to Flight. And again, you can see that even though it's the same functions, we have a very different look. So we have our own DataBasics logo, a blue and white aesthetic, and then we have different sizes of these little windows to show how it can be dynamic and to change up what you're looking at. So obviously this particular picture here looks much better in a full landscape shot than if it was put in a square image. And that just shows you some of the functionality we have with sharing. There are a lot of other options, and you can really customize this to look how you'd like it to. But it's quick and easy to set up. All you do is define what album you're sharing, and it's ready to go. All right, so that's as much as I've got. Has anybody got any questions regarding any of the topics that we've just gone through? Excellent. Well, if you do, don't hesitate to throw them our way. Antra, are you ready to go?
Yes, I am.
All right, well, I'll hand it over to you then.
Okay.
I will make you the presenter. There we go.
Okay. Okay, hello everyone again. So this is Antra, the Media Marketing Manager for DataBasics. Like I said earlier, I use DAM almost every day. What I like about it is I don't need to store anything on my desktop or ask people for it. It's right there in the DAM. So, and today I will show you a couple of things that can make a life of a creative or a marketing person much easier. So I will show you Flight Chrome extension, the WordPress plugin, direct URLs, and the InDesign plugin. So, and let me start with the Chrome extension. Because I work on a PC and in Chrome most of the time, I use this tool very often. You can download it from Chrome Web Store, and it will appear right here on the top right corner of your browser. So let's click on it. And So when you first log in or any other time, it will ask you to log in, provide your flat instance URL, and then let's just log in. And it will take you to your DAM library. So how do we use it? So pretty much the Chrome extension will allow you to drag and drop files from flights into any app or platform that supports drag and drop. For example, let's say for this demo, let's say I'm working on this PowerPoint presentation here, and I need an image. So let me select an image from our stock library. I will minimize this, and all you have to do is choose an image that you'd like to drag and drop into your PowerPoint or any other platform. Let me see which image might we select for this one. Okay. Well, how about this one? So I already clicked the enable button here on the right side. After it turns orange and it says ready, all you have to do is drop the image right into your PowerPoint. So second. Okay. Okay. So. Okay. And okay. Okay. Sorry about this. I tried it before. Okay. Okay. We can also drag and drop to any other platform. Let's say a Photoshop. Okay. So same thing here. Where's this? Okay. Oh, let's try the Twitter. Sorry about this. So let's say I like to send a post out, and let's choose this image. All you have to do is drag and drop. It'll appear right here. All you have to do is just click tweet, and off you go. The image is right there. And so that's how easy it is. And so now let me show you the WordPress plugin. So you get the WordPress plugin from the WordPress plugin site. You can basically easily find any images or publish the photos on your website. And you can also browse your library. So let's see if we click on Add Media here. And right here on the left side, you can see Flat by Canto. Click on that. And it will bring up all your DAM library. You can also see all your categories and the tree, so you can browse and search however way you like to do it. You can search right here in the search bar by keywords or tags or however else. And once you select an image, let me select this little lizard here. After that, you can define all these things on the right side, link it to the media file, then different predefined sizes that you have for your website. Let's put this in a medium and insert into post. Okay, and as you can see, it is actually linked directly from your web server, so which is important if you ever need to back up your site. So it all automatically gets saved in your WordPress media library. Let's see what it looks like. So basically, the good thing is you don't need to specifically download anything. You can just access your DAM library within your WordPress, and you're good to go. Okay, and we can preview the image here. And there it is. That's as easy as that. And now let me show you the direct URLs. I would say that the best use for direct URLs would be explained as linking your website to them. So with direct URLs, you can view any file, including the PSD, AVI, or RAW files in your browser without having to convert it or download it. All you have to do is, so let's take a look at this little fish here. So all you have to do is you click this down button, which will take you to details page of an image or any file. Same goes for video files or document files, and you can see the direct URLs here. So there's the original file. With the original file, you can preview, place, or share it in its original size. And the preview image, let's look at that one. So all you have to do, copy on clipboard, and then let's open the browser. You paste it right here. Okay, so if you can see at the end of this link, there is a number 800 in this case, which is the pixel size. So automatically, without having to do anything else like downloading, you can change the size of the image right there. So let's say we wanted 200. And now we click enter, and it will show you a preview right there. And this image particularly is a Photoshop image, the PSD image. So I didn't have to download or do anything else. I got the link, and I'm able to look at it or resize it right there in my browser. Okay, and the same thing is with the video files. So let's say we have a video here. Let's close this one. Same with the video files. You don't have to worry about converting it or looking for a file converter to be able to view it. All you can do is just get the direct URL. And the other good thing about the direct URLs is, let's take a look again at our website. So, and let's get rid of this for now. And let's add a media to a post or wherever you like on your website using the URL. So let's click on the insert from URL, and let's take that same fish image. Let's take that same fish image right here. Let's get the direct URL Let's do the preview, copy to clipboard. And now we go into our WordPress, paste the link, the URL, and see it appears right here. You can add any additional information that you like, insert into post. And there it is. Now, the good thing about the URLs is that it links directly to your DAM library. So whenever on your website, for example, there are some changes, you need to change an image or a better version of it. Let's say your manager says, "Okay, I don't like this blue background in this image." So what Robin already showed you, different versions of the same file. So all you have to do is make another version current, and it will automatically update on your website without having to do anything else. And same goes with documents. Let's say we recently had to update our terms and conditions document. And all you have to do is upload a newer version onto your Flight DAM, and it automatically is changed on your website. So it recognizes the changes that are happening because it is linked to it. Okay, so that was this, and now let me show you the InDesign plugin. So with the InDesign plugin, you download it from the Adobe plugins site. After you log in, it pretty much works the same as the Chrome extension, so it's drag and drop. And so let's have our flight open. Let's open our flight and the InDesign. I have this little mock-up document I'm working on, and what I want to do is insert a logo and an image into this document. So what you'll have to do, you have your flight open. Let's minimize this window here, and let's look for some logo, and we'll use these our mock-up brand great boxes, and let's look at the logos here. And I want to use this logo right here. So all I have to do is drop it, drag and drop. Okay, let's just wait until it loads. Okay, just takes a little second here. Okay, and there it is. You just place it wherever you like. Then you can resize it or do whatever else you like to do with it. And let's put another image. I would like a product image here on the bottom. So again, let's go back to Flight. Let's look at our box images. Let's choose this one. I will drop it right here. And let's just wait 1 second again until it's loading. It just takes a little while. It's because my machine is pretty slow at this time, so. Okay, and there it is. So we place it. Again, we can resize it any way we want. Move it here. Okay, so there it is. And the best part about this InDesign plugin is it creates a link to your DAM library. So you can see if you click on your links, you can see the address for it on both of the images. So again, same thing, whenever there are any changes made to this image, it will automatically update on the document. So let's take a look. So let's save this image. So we've saved this one. Then we go back to our flight library. And let's say I sent this document to my manager, and my manager came back and said, you know what, I would like to use a different image of the boxes. Let's say the boxes in black and white. So what I have done here, I have already created a black and white version of the same boxes. And all you have to do is make it current. So you click this little circle right there, make it current. Okay, so now this version becomes the current version. Okay, and now let's go back to our InDesign document. So, and you will see right here the little question mark appears, question mark here, and it if you hover over it, it says click on it to accept the changes. So it recognizes that there have been changes made to the image, and it automatically updates it, and you will see the black and white boxes now without having to do anything else. So it's all done in your DAM. Okay, and there you go. So it's the black and white boxes. So that's all that I wanted to show you today. Please feel free, let us know if there are any questions. So you can use the chat box for that. And if not, I'll thank you for joining the webinar, and you will also receive the webinar recording. And at this time, I will hand over to Robin if Robin has anything else to say.
No, I'm very happy with what we've covered so far. Thank you again for everybody that joined us today, and I hope you guys got something out of it.
Thank you, and bye-bye.
See you later.